Namaskara and hello everyone. On behalf of our team, Mitra for Life, I would like to welcome all our dear parents today. It is my pleasure to welcome Mrs. Vidya Venkatesh and Aditya Venkatesh. Thank you very much for joining us. Happy to have you both for today's program.
Thank you.
So, this is about Aditya. 20-year-old Aditya Venkatesh has had a very interesting journey. He has always had a natural inclination towards music, and it became his preferred form of expression. While he was diagnosed for developmental delay when he was 2.5 years old, he has found his unique strengths and talents in music and can play the piano, drums, guitar, and his favorite instrument, the keyboard. Aditya has been learning Carnatic and Western art forms under the tutelage of Vidwan Sri Tirumala Srinivas and the famous harmonist Vidwan Sri Ramdas. He is also getting advanced training on Western piano forms from Miss Parvati Mani of the Eastman School of Music in New York and San Francisco Conservatory. More recently, under the tutelage and guidance of Sri Vidwan Kumaresh Rajagopalan, he has been understanding Indian ragas and thalas more deeply and has given more than 35 performances in Bangalore, Chennai, Mangalore, and Coimbatore. Aditya has been graced by his divine energy, and we all wish him the best in his great journey. And now we are eagerly waiting to witness Aditya's special keyboard performance. Over to you, Aditya.
Thank you so much, Sandhya, for introducing us. And thank you, Dr. Madhuri, for this opportunity. Thank you, Mitra for Life, for this opportunity. Wonderful to be here. And we begin this performance today's evening. We begin with a song, a Tamil song composed by Sri Papanasan Sivam, Yenna Tavam Shaidani Yashoda, a beautiful song which talks about what tapas you did, Yashoda, to have a divine soul, which is your child, calling you Amma. So today's conversation is only going to be around that. And as he is playing Kapi Ennathavam Sedane, he will move to Kapi Tillana, which is his guru, Sri Kumaresh and Dr. Jayanti Kumaresh's composition. And he will complete it with them. Thank you. Over to Aditya.
Yeah.
Amazing performance. It was mesmerizing, if I can say so. Thank you very much. So now we move on with the next one. So happy to introduce Mrs. Vidya Venkatesh, Aditya's mother. When Aditya was born, she was into manufacturing women's apparel, but chose to focus on Aditya when he was diagnosed with a developmental delay around 3 years of age. Her focused attention helped her to observe his inclination towards classical music even when he was a 6-month-old baby. Through a lot of effort, she helped to grow his immense talents in music in a wholesome, creative way. Over the last 21 years, she has learned that this enriching journey has helped her discover herself and her true life purpose to help people. And so, she also became a part of Ashwasan Foundation to help people discover themselves as well. So, now I request Mrs. Vidya to share her experiences and proud moments of her life, proud moments of experiences she had in Aditya's life. Thank you, and over to Vidya.
So yes, Aditya's journey began when he was diagnosed. Like he had seizures when he was around 3 months, and post which I mean, what I starkly remember is like Aditya used to listen to classical Carnatic music hours together when he was a 4 5 months old baby, 6 months old baby. And this was very intriguing. Like, how can a baby be listening to Carnatic music like this for so many hours? So people would come and look at him, and then they would like, well, I mean, this is a very different kind of child, maybe. So, and then later on, when he was around 2, is when I realized we saw him not communicating at all. Like he wouldn't ask for anything. And this was like very, I mean, I'm talking about 19 years back. So we were not even aware of a condition like autism that time. And we were also living in the north in a place called Indore, and there were hardly any, there was no awareness as such on autism. So I had not even heard about it. And then I saw him very different, not even wanting to interact with anybody, not wanting to communicate. All by himself, he will be playing, very isolated. So when we moved out of Indore, when we reached Bangalore in the year 2002, is when I slowly started to see that I mean, he was very different from all the other children. And then I wanted to know what exactly, if I would ask the doctors, they would say like, he looks, maybe he's a delayed, his speech is delayed. Maybe his milestones are delayed. There are many children who go through that. But then suddenly at one point, like when I put him in a special school is when the teacher told me like, there is something wrong with him. You'll have to check. Then he was diagnosed with a developmental delay, and we started off with the therapies. I'm sure most of the parents must be or have gone through a similar journey like this, like where it is devastating to hear a diagnosis at that point. And it's so painful. So I just went into a shell. I wouldn't know what to do with him. And all the time I would be like, I mean, first of all, I never even wanted to know what autism was. This was something which I was very scared to even hear. When early intervention started, I thought I was like a aggressive mother doing early intervention with him for at least 13-14 hours, when a child had to equally play outside in the ground, enjoy and be with friends, or be in the music, I mean, park with playing instruments and all that. I was constantly giving him therapy. And at one point I was like, I mean, I thought, why not try? I was doing so many things, exploring multiple things, Ayurveda, then all kinds of therapies that was available those days. Whatever I would hear, I would explore it with him. And then once I would, one thing constant I would experience with him was his listening to Carnatic music, which is constantly, he would not even go outside to play, but he will be sitting and listening to Carnatic music. Then I thought, why not try something on the keyboard or music? I had a very small keyboard, play keyboard, in which I just tried to teach him. I bought the how to teach piano to children. I bought this book and I started teaching him. Almost a month I tried, and I just let go of it. I thought, okay, maybe he's just listening. I mean, maybe he won't do anything. And when I was cooking one day, this experience I especially want to share with parents, because when I was cooking, I suddenly heard Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star on the keyboard. And I told my daughter, who was reading in the other room, like, don't waste your time, go and study, I told her. And she said, I'm already studying, I'm not playing. Then I just ran out to see who it was. And it was Aditya, who after a long period of time trying Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, just could play that whole tune on the small keyboard. And this was like a very joyous moment for me. I just like felt like, okay, he can do something. That day I picked up the keyboard and I started. I said, I will not give up. Maybe he'll have to practice it 15 times, 20 times, 50 times, 100 times. I will never give up. I will make him learn. So that's where we began our journey, which was 4 years of age or 4.5 years of age. I called a music therapist home. He would come home and he would teach him Western classical music. We began with Western classical, and he learned 2 books of Royal School of London without reading it, just by hearing it. He'll just imitate the tune. But to begin with, it was so hard to even get him to move the fingers on the keys. So every day after the therapist would leave, my all my time I would spend on moving his fingers on the keyboard. And every time I would put the finger and I'll tell him, this is the sound that you get A, this is the sound you get B, this is the sound you get C. So he'll keep, so his fingers won't move, obviously neurological concern, because of which he won't know which finger to put where, which key. So all those challenges were there, but probably in a year, he could actually play well. I never gave up, not a single day. I would give up. End of the day would be tiring. I would have gone to sleep without like, oh my God, he didn't do anything. But when I get up in the morning next day, I'll like, okay, I won't give up today. I'll try again. So this something drove me and made me like push him to learn, which was like almost in a year, we completed 2 books of Royal School of London, just hearing and playing. So then somebody told me like he needs to read notes for Western classical music. So it's not a great idea to get him to play Western classical. So I was very confused. So I thought, why not try classical Carnatic? Because he's been hearing that. So I wouldn't know. Again, the music therapist who was coming had little knowledge of Carnatic. So he started teaching him. I don't know how many of you all are aware of Carnatic. I'm sure many of you all must be already. With Sarali Varasa, Janta Varasa, everything very basic level. So I mean, thankfully, I come from a background where my sister sings very well. So I have heard music, grown hearing Carnatic music. So I would know the basics. So in the notebook with the, swaras, I would write which finger for which swara and what is the, where to pause, everything. So I would note down everything. I would come and then come back and practice. I thought continuous practice and very consistently not giving up really helped. That was one thing I want to share with all parents. Never give up. I mean, I know it's very tiring. He won't do many days, or most of the days he will not do. He will find it very difficult. He'll cry. He'll have behaviors. So when he has behaviors, I would leave him, go back again and try. And that's how we started with classical Carnatic. And then I figured out that, this therapist one day called me and said, he has outgrown. I can't teach him anymore. Please find a guru for him. Then I found another guru, somebody recommended Vidwan Tirumala Srinivas, to whom I went, and he started off with the basics of Carnatic with complete, how to play Carnatic on the keyboard with gamakas, with swaras, anuswaras, everything. And I would record everything and come. So he said, I will try whatever I can, I will do, he said. But I told Master, whatever he can, whatever you can, you teach him. I will go home. I will bring the recording home. I will make it a point to record every point of whatever he would share with me. I will not even leave even a single point. Write down in the book, even if it's the smallest thing. I would not leave it. I'll write down everything and I will come back. And then I'll sit with it. I'll read it many times and then put on the recorder and start and sit with him to practice. So this is how we started. So every swara has an anuswara. For Re, Sa is the anuswara. Like that, I would write down the anuswaras also in the book and come and remind him, this is how a gamaka has to come. So that is how we started our musical journey. And Aditya was like, because he was hearing Carnatic right from the childhood, I won't say I had to really struggle to make him learn Carnatic. Carnatic came very easily, and he started identifying ragas at the age of 6. He knew a lot of ragas by the time. I won't know how. So if there is a song, I would take him for a concert. If somebody is playing or somebody is singing, he would clearly say, this is Shanmuga Priya. This is, Bilahari. He would clearly say. So I was, kind of like very sure that there's something this child has to do with Carnatic music. So I started developing that. And with his guru, we started off with more like at the age of 7, Tirumala sir told me, why don't we put Aditya on the stage? Let's see, whatever he plays, let him play. Anyway, he's playing well. So I was very apprehensive with the mridangam and all. He said, like, you don't worry, we'll see. Even if it is me, he's making a mistake, it's okay. We'll just give him an opportunity. He sat on the stage, I think 7.5 or 8, I don't remember. With accompaniments, flawlessly, he played Malaya Marudam, the song, and he was like, I mean, he was applauded, and I was like, feeling so thrilled about it. And that's how we began. Every time there would be a challenge, master would say, like, he is able to learn. Typically these children, whatever you teach them, they are able to imitate. But this is not how a journey of a musician is. Like, they need to learn Kalpana Swaras, Alapanas, and all that. So Vidya, we don't know how to put it across to him. So I said, sir, you teach. I will record it and go. I will see how. So he'll say, okay, I will teach you what is there. So every time I would learn and come home, start and, teach him. Maybe the first line of Swaras will be repeated 25 times, 20 times, 30 times. I won't give up. I used mind mapping. Like Sa would be of one color, Re would be of one color sketch, Ga would be of one color sketch, Ma would be of one color sketch. So all Sa's will be red, all Re's will be green, like that. So I used mind mapping and I started teaching him. So that worked great for him. And he started playing, slowly, like he was very good with his memory. So repeating the whole song maybe 10 times, 20 times, he was perfect. So he is very disciplined that way, a child, very, very disciplined. And one thing is like these children have a repetitive behavior. Like I made use of that. So if you give them a toy, they'll be playing with it all the time. If you give them some equipment, they will be with it all the time. They'll be doing a task all the time. So I made use of that behavior and got him to be on the keyboard maybe 5 hours in a day, 6 hours in a day, 4 hours in a day. So he'll always be on it, keep on practicing, keep on practicing. And that kind of really helped. So he moved to, he started playing Swaras also. Kalpana Swaras came, first it was initially all by heart. It came later on, he knew, okay, I can generalize and make my own Swaras. He learned and he started playing Alap. The first concert he gave was when he was 12 years, an independent concert for 45 minutes with all accompaniments in one of the sabhas, the other side near Banshankari. And that was a very big welcoming moment for us where like I believed that, yes, he has a lot of potential and I can do something with this child. Till then, there was a constant thought, what do I do with him? Okay, he's playing music, but will he be able to be independent? Will he be able to sustain? So yes, I have to share this. So I started encouraging him at the age of 4. And from 4, it was a non-stop journey for us in the music. There have been good days, bad days, not performing, performing days. I would have really cried many days. I would have given up, but I will bounce back. I will get up because there was one thing which always, like with our children, we cannot give up. I mean, I think we have no choice rather than, we just have to do it. Because, if it is somebody else, we can say like, oh, I'm not able to do. I'm finding it very difficult. It's so tough. Maybe I can't do it. So we can easily say, but with our children, I think there is no choice but to do it. So I think that is where I started experiencing like, okay, there is something that Aditya has. come to me for. So that's the journey I took with him, where I wanted to experience and see how can I even, make him, like, his dream is, many times he would say, what do you want to be? I want to be a musician, he would say. So later on, we moved to Kumaresh sir when he was around 16 years, and completely the whole scene changed, where like sir gave him totally a different background to learn music, like how Beethoven made notes in Western classical, Kumaresh sir made notes in Indian classical and said, like, I'm going to try this with Aditya. Let him not be finding it very difficult with Carnatic music. He was finding it very difficult because as he was growing, the swaras and alapnas were getting very difficult. And when he was around 14, 15, he started to feel very stressed about his performance. So Kumaresh sir simplified it more and made it very easy for him and gave him like completely to a feel of how it can be played on a piano. So, and he started enjoying this methodology also. And he, that's how the journey began. He gave a lot of performances. Like, he loves performing. He loves to be on the stage. He practices almost 5, 6, 7 hours in a day. So when he was around 15 or 16, I started off with piano for him. He could learn, he could read, he could not read. So I gave up piano again at the age of 19. Again, I started piano. He's able to read now. He's reading and he has finished his 4th grade now in piano. And parallelly, 4 years back, I thought, like, why not try one more instrument? Because he was learning keyboard and he was very open to learning other instruments. We started off with drums, and on the go, he just started playing the drum. So I also, he's been very regular with his drum, and he has completed his 4th grade in drum also. And last year we started off with a guitar for him, and he's trying to learn, although guitar is relatively a more difficult instrument. I have always felt keyboard is one of the easiest instrument, where like both the hemispheres of the brain are like, there is a coordination because both the hands are used. So how did regular practice help him affect his behavior? Oh, music has been a therapy for him. Like, whenever he cries, I just put on some music, some soft music. He will be listening to it. Many times he has overcome the meltdowns just by playing music or listening to music, whatever music. It could be Carnatic, it could be a soft classical Western piano, whatever it is. It has really helped him. And it has also given him a lot of like confidence. Being on the stage has given him a lot of confidence, because many times I felt like when he was in the mainstream school, he would feel I'm different, he always felt. And because of his communication skills that have been lacking, he always felt very low about himself, which has been a major challenge in him, where we tried, like, when he's on the stage, he's just like feeling so happy that I'm on the stage and I can do something. And after every performance, I have seen that his confidence and his trust on himself and his faith on himself and his music has really improved a lot. And yes, I made some points where like music has helped him with overcome a lot of sensory issues. He had a lot of auditory processing issues when he was young. If I had to talk to him, if I would give him a command, it was like really difficult for him to process. But with music, what he would do is like whatever was put in, like he may not be able to bring it out. The output will be a little delayed, but he continuously goes back and he will be practicing it. And many times the frequency of the sounds has helped him to overcome auditory issues. So that is something which I have seen. And communication, of course, social skills have improved, his cognition and his behavior. A lot of behaviors have been overcome over a very long period of time with music. And also, if you have to play something with a bhava, you need to be very connected with yourself and your emotions. So that's when a bhava can come in a music, especially in a classical music. So I saw that with music for a very long period of time, his connection to himself. Once he told me, I think Indian Express was interviewing him some 5 years back. They asked him, what is music for you? He said, like, I experienced my life through music, he said. So that is music for him. Music is like his breath. He breathes music. He lives music all the time. So when he was young, in fact, I tried teaching him some of the concepts in science through ragas, through musical, in a musical way. I will just try to make it like a song and teach him. So he has tried many times. Now he's 21. We have done various things with him. I think Aditya is one of the child who's like overworked, like for a long time. I have been like, I don't think I have given him too much of free time. So that is something which, I don't think everything can be compensated. So sometimes if you have to really be there, do something or achieve something, you have to work very hard. So that way, I have always instilled that whole belief that when you work very hard, when you're very disciplined, when you're very focused, somewhere you can be on a stage like this. I wish to, this is all about his music, and he loves practicing, and he loves to grow as a musician. And I gave him a choice 5 years back. I told him, like, he was in a mainstream school and he could not manage. I pulled him out and I put him in a special school, and he didn't like going to school. So I pulled him out of school completely and we started homeschooling. He's been home for the last 3 years, and I don't regret, because I'm enjoying his peace and his silence and his complete focus on music. And I actually asked him, like, I show you books, I show you music. What do you wish to choose? Like, do you think you want to study and go to a college, or you want to get into a music college, or be a musician, be on the stage? He clearly said, like, I would like to move this side. I don't want to go that side, because I don't think I'm even interested. So Aditya has never shown any interest in academics. I have tried my best to put concepts, like made him read social, made him read history, geography, science, physics. Yeah, but I think I could never get that done. He's communicative. I thought I was very happy that he's able to talk, he's able to say what he wants. This became more prominent or priority for us. As long as they are communicating, I think that's fine. So that's about the musical journey. And if you would ask me as a parent for a very long period, I'm sure most of you must have had very tough journeys, or have started journeys which has been very, very challenging. All I wish to say is, like, I made a lot of mistakes. So some of the mistakes have been, like, why I wish to share in this forum is, like, it's not worth making such mistakes, because when we are early and when we begin the journey with in a more profound way, I think the children grow better, less fear, they are more themselves. So I had very unrealistic expectations because I never accepted the condition. That was one thing. I always made a mistake, very, 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 very high expectation when it comes to music, or when it comes to all the other potential, like sports he had. Like, I think I would give very high targets to him. I thought it was like I realized all this maybe 6-7 years back. So I started changing, making a shift with myself. Like, I don't want to do all this, because what was more important to me was not what he can do, but the child is larger picture than what he can do. So that's when I made a shift with myself. One was very unrealistic expectations, something which really, made him very stressed and very anxious. That was one thing. And also, I used to look at everything through the autism lens. So that was another one, concern that I had. Like, everything that he would do, oh my God, okay, maybe because it's autism, he's not able to do. Because it's autism, this is happening. Because it's autism. It's not autism all the time. It's not the developmental delay all the time. sometimes they are themselves. They don't want to do, they don't want to do. They have certain emotional challenges which they are going through and which has been coming in the way, because these children all the time have behaviors because they don't know how to deal with their emotional issues. So there is a continuous chemical imbalance that's happening in their body, which continuously keeps giving some kind of disturbance in them, where like, I mean, I can't deal with anything else. Whatever I can is what I can do. So that way, most of them are, or almost every child is capable. They can do. One thing I tried with him, I have read this book, Musings of an Autistic, by Krishna Narayanan, when Aditya was around 4 years old. I attended Krishna Narayanan's parents' workshop. This was in the year 2003 or 4. And when I was, I bought the book and I read it, in which Krishna Narayanan, very severe autistic person, he wrote and he told what he went through in his life. For 23 years, his parents never knew that he knew everything. He was learning everything. He was absorbing everything. He was observing everything. He was completely aware of everything that was happening. Only thing that he didn't do was he was not able to communicate or tell what was happening. So he says in one of the chapters that the mother is one of the most important person in the child's life, and the mother having complete blind faith in the child and totally believing that the child will be able to do, has so much of power. So I would actually wake up in the morning and visualize Aditya getting better, Aditya doing multiple things, Aditya being able to do many things, Aditya playing in large platforms. So this was one of the visualization I would constantly do. I would imagine whenever I'm free, I would be just thinking, like, how will it be if Adi can play there? How will it be if he can, maybe if he's able to learn from this person, if he can learn. So I would see that Aditya would automatically be moving towards whatever I would be visualizing. This is one thing I would do continuously. Whatever obstacles would come, I will just, it does bother many times. I have, many times, I mean, there has not been a day, I mean, for many years, I have not cried. Not a day has passed without me crying or without me feeling low. Many days, many years. But only thing I observed was today when I'm there, he's able to do so many things. Then I regret, why did I even break my head so much that day? So one thing I wish to tell parents is like, please enjoy your life, please live, please have fun, because autism is only a part of our lives. It's not everything. And we all can live a beautiful life, and we should live. Because we don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 years. All you may know, they will be somewhere. So please don't even, take so much stress, like, because stress is a part of all the time in a journey like this. So that's one humble request I have for all the parents. Yeah. Yes, Aditya has also been, kinesthetic intelligence is very good in Aditya. He's an avid sports person. I don't know how. I just left him in the badminton court, maybe when he was around 9. I told the master, I will not come into the badminton court because it causes a lot of anxiety in me. Teach him whatever he wants to learn. Let him learn. I'll come back after 1 hour and pick him up and go. So this was the whole journey for almost a year. And at the end of the year, that master called me one day and scolded me. Why are you not coming inside? I said, I don't want to see. So he said, like, you must see, come and see how he's playing. So when I went inside and I sat with a lot of anxiety, like, oh my God, is he able to do that? He was beautifully hitting across the net. And I was like very shocked, like, oh, he can hit. He said, not only hit, he knows where to put the cock also, he said. So, I mean, why? I don't know why you mothers are so anxious all the time. That's when I thought, oh, okay, so he can learn. And like, so then I made him watch Federer matches and Djokovic matches, or whoever that point of time they were on. So he would be watching, and one day I gave him the racket and I told him, just hit the ball if you feel like. He was beautifully hitting across the net, the tennis ball. So I was like, oh, okay, fine. I'm just, I can't, sometimes I'm like in awe. And that is the reason why, like, I thought like he can't do many things. But many times he has proved me wrong. He's proved that what I believed about him was wrong. That is why many times our belief systems about our children play a major role. We think they can't do. No. We think they don't know. No. We think they will not be able to. No. They do many things. They are aware. At the age of 9 or 10, Aditya, after he finished some task, I was so happy. He wrote in a paper, Mama, be very happy. And he gave it to me, and I was shocked. So our children know everything. I totally believe. That is why I said, Ennatavam Sedane Yashoda. We are all Yashodas who are raising the divine child. They have challenges, but challenges give us pain. What does pain do? It takes us deeper with ourselves. And every time we go deeper, we connect with ourselves. As we connect, we know who we are. And this is a journey of self-discovery completely, where like a mother and a father are given an opportunity to discover themselves. I think evolution has moved us away from this whole self-discovery process. We are all running in this rat, like a rat race. I mean, I'm sure if Aditya was not born with this challenge, I would have definitely made him go to an IIT or an IIM. I'm sure I would have pushed him to do that, which I did with my daughter. So I think, I mean, I did that mistake also. So I had pushed my daughter till recently, like 5 years back. There was a big showdown, like when Aditya told me once, like, you're putting a lot of stress on her. I think it's not good. And you are getting affected because of that, he told me. And I was very shocked. And I said, like, okay, I mean, he told me after that, I stopped it. I never wanted, because my son, is this the way to do? He asked me once, because I was so angry with my daughter. I had all my expectations on her academically because he was not doing. So all the expectations on him musically, I think I found a balance later. So our children come to teach us so many things. They are our teachers, especially special children. I mean, I think it's a blessing. For me, it's a blessing. I thought it was a curse at one point of time, that I did some mistake. That is why he came to me. I mean, I must have done some papa, something. I had all these beliefs. But no, I think it's a blessing to even have a child like this, whom we can celebrate small things. I have learned to enjoy small things of life. I have learned to accept. I have learned to, the day I'm very judgmental about him, I'm sure he wouldn't have done anything. So I know that for sure. The next day, when I go back without any judgments, he would have done everything I wanted 2 months back. So this is another learning, large learning I had from him. So I think as an individual, I have evolved. As a mother, as a family, he showed us a direction. Today, I look up to him. Once I said, like, I felt like he's like my God. I felt come to even show me what I need to do, who I am, everything. So over to the parents. Anybody has any question? I wish to say is, like, when somebody is affected with cancer or a degeneration, they go through a very, very deep journey with themselves. Yes, people around are there, but when it is autism, I have seen the child and the parents are there in the journey. The child is actually in the front, and driving both the parents. And it's like everything about the child is our life. But yes, so many things we learn from them. We don't, one thing I've seen in most of the parents is not giving up. I don't think any parent in this forum will give up. They will be working hard continuously all the time, come what may, whatever happens, they will be working hard. So that is the only mantra. Without losing hope. I mean, don't even be, I mean, just don't give up at any point of time. At any point of time, don't give up. Because there was a very severely, I remember my doctor told me, pediatric neurologist said, like, your son is moving. I know a story where a child was completely confined to bed. The mother worked so hard with him that today she's a typist. That boy is a typist. So that is the journey he took, Vidya. So never give up. She told me that. So that has been like, so many people said so many things. So I would never want to give up. Is never give up. You may go through multiple things, but you will have solution. Your child will give you a solution somewhere, and you will. I mean, you will see sometimes like it will take months together. I would have tried something in the month of June. He would not do it. I would give up. I'll be frustrated. I would cry, and I'm looking like this now. So 15 years back, you can imagine, like I lost so much weight. I was so depressed, and I would cry all the time. And but like I'll keep on trying. It won't happen. What I tried in June, sometimes next February he would do. But I would have tried and given up. And then suddenly he will be doing that. And I would be like zapped. That's when I figured out that they need a lot of practice, continuous work, reminding them, telling them continuously, giving commands continuously. And they observe very well, they are very aware, and more than all of us, they know what's happening. Keyboard is a good instrument for children to begin with because it's very easy to move compared to other instruments. Yeah. Plus, when children are using both hands, both the hemispheres, continuously there is work happening. So I would suggest if parents want to start, vocal is also very good. If children can sing, it gives a great, like, speech becomes clearer, focus. They need special class for music. So here I would like to share something. There are music therapists who teach. So at that point of time, there was hardly any music therapist. I could barely manage one. But after that, the music therapist said, like, I can't teach. So what I always do is, like, we have to customize. We have to sit with the guru and find out. Like, our child has this problem, we have to put it to the guru and tell, or the teacher, tell that these are the challenges, prime the teacher all the time and build a rapport with the teacher. And sometimes you learn, you teach till they start learning from them. So I learned and I would teach him. So every time I would learn and come and teach him till he became independent all by himself. So that is also possible. On the keyboards, I'm sure most of the parents do. What I did was Sarigama Padanisa on all the keys, a big sticker I took on big marker pen I wrote and I stuck on all the keys. Parallelly on along with Sarigama Padanisa, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, F, I stuck. So that also helps a lot.
Vidya, okay. I think one question, how much time he used to practice? You can see in the chat window, can you?
Okay, 1 second.
It says daily, how much time would he practice?
From that time, initially he would not want to practice. I would make him practice for 2 hours. Some days which are good, maybe 2 hours. Some days which are bad, maybe half an hour. 10 minutes. But if the child has a lot of resistance, that means the child maybe is not ready for music. So you can give time and start later. Or what I would honestly like to advise many parents is, like, try a couple of things with your child for 6 months to see if the child is really interested, like an art form and a sport. So in an art form method, it is some of the children are very good with music. Some of them are very good with painting, amazing with art forms. Some of them are very good with maths. So they start showing at the age of, sometimes they show when they are young, sometimes they show when they reach 12, 14. But it will be good to try 2 things for a period of time and see if they show any interest. If not, then move to something else. So that is something which I would continuously keep trying. If he's not responding, maybe sensory, like maybe the music is not like really comforting him, maybe he takes a little longer. Unless he himself is wanting to be on the keyboard, leave the keyboard in the room. And if he's not playing, you can play on it sometimes. And if he wants to, he will come to you.
Completely hats off, complete, namaskarams to the mother in you. I think the message here, it was really emotional. I was also feeling, extremely emotional while you were talking, because I think it's true for everybody, back your child. And this is what we've been trying to say. Sometimes you really have to make that mental shift from saying, yes, I believe academics are important, but then if my child is, and they do give you the signs, you will always know at some level that, music or dance or, something, there will be an indication of the strengths, right? And completely, I mean, to every mother who's on this forum, I think totally hats off. I know all of you persevere, and really just the experience we had while Aditya was playing at the beginning of the meeting, I think that it just downplays a lifetime of perseverance and all that hardship you've been through. But then I think end of the day, it completely pays off, just to see your child in that position. So thank you so much for sharing Vidya. It was absolutely beautiful. And I would really like to end on a high note, because also a lot of our parents missed the performance. So let's.
So he's going to play Nalina Kanti, a composition of his guru Vidwan Kumaresh. What do you call it?
Nalina Kanti, Uneven Meadows.
Uneven Meadows is the name he has given for Nalina Kanti. He's going to play that.
Yeah.
And this is a dedication to all the mothers who are working very hard. Please don't give up.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Aditya. God bless. You have wishes from everybody on this meeting and a lot more. We'd love to see you on a, national stage and an international stage soon. Enjoy your music for yourself, Aditya. Lots of wishes from us. Thank you so much for sharing your music with us today.